In this video, I'm going to show the way to connect the indicator in BC Designer Online to external database. This is one of the ways to input data in your indicators to automate data input in your indicators. So here we have Ind1 and indicator 2 in 2. And what is important is that this indicator is updated on the first day of the month. I will comment later why it's important to know this. And another thing that we need to know that now we have selected March in this calendar. This is also important because it will affect the preview data that I'm going to use later. So let's set up access to external database. It's actually easy. We need to select this indicator and then go to Data tab and click on this button next to the value field. Then in this dialog, we need to go to this space, more data sources, and click on this button, SQL query. Okay, so basically on this step, we have to introduce some access data to the database that I'm going to do right now. Okay, my data is here. I can click test connection to make sure that it's working properly, and I see this green message. So it works. And one productivity hack in this context is that if you're going to reuse this database, you don't need to enter all these fields once again. You can just copy this connection string and just re-enter login and password data to save your time. Okay, click on next. And on this step, let's start with a simple query to have a look at the data that we have inside the database that we're going to access. Okay, so that's what we have. We have 3 columns. The first column is indicator that contains some name of some indicator that I matched intentionally with the name of the indicators that I have in the software. Second column is the date, and the third column is the value that corresponds to this indicator for this date. So for indicator 1, everything is relatively simple. We have one date and one value, one date, one value. And for indicator 2, it's a little bit more complicated. So here I have, for example, for March, I have 2 dates for March and 2 values for March. So let's see what we can do to manage this. Now, instead of using this query, I'm going to use this one that is more reflects my needs. So what it is all about. First of all, I don't need all columns. I'm just interested in the value column. So I need to select value column from my database. My table name is demo. And I have here 2 conditions. One condition is that the name of the indicator, the first column, should match the name of the item that I have here. So I use this parameter, item name, that in this case, example for the selected indicator, it will be int2. Yeah. And another condition is that date from my table should belong to this interval, update period start and update period end. What this interval stands for. This interval is defined by update interval of the indicator. I mentioned in the beginning that this indicator is updated on the first day of the month. Yeah, and that's what the software suggests me to use as a parameter. So I can filter the values that belong to the update interval for this indicator. And in this case, I have selected March here. So the software will filter for me all the dates between the 1st of March, in this case, we're update interval on the first day of the March, and the last day of the update interval, which is in this case is 31 of March. Okay, click on next. Let's see what we have. Yeah, we have a kind of small problem here because for March we have two values, 3 and 5, but the software can manage with just one value. Yeah, so we need to decide what we want to do with two values. So now I see that the software recognized 3 as a result value. If that's what I want, probably I can click finish and that's it. But I guess if we have two different values for the same period, I think it's better to have a sum of these values. So I need to add here to change curry in this way. So instead of having a single value, we'll ask for a sum of the values that belong to this period. Okay, click on next. I see that I have this value now, 8, and just click finish. So the software has read from me this value, 8. I have it here, value editor. And now let's click on February. What will happen? The software repeats the same query, but it uses different parameter. It uses the February, the 1st of February and the last day of February as a parameter, and it gets us a different value, which is now 12. Repeating for January. Yeah, the value is different. Again, I can check it here. So the software executed for me this query. We can check it. Setting. Next. Executed for me this query, replacing these parameters with these values in this case, and inserting the value in the value field for this indicator. Let's imagine that something has happened and the data in the database was updated. How to update it in the software, because the software doesn't know that it was updated. Well, if the data is already entered, we need to update it manually. We need to do this by clicking refresh button. So I click refresh and the value was read again from the database. Have the same function here, refresh imported. So again, refreshing data if we need it. It will be loaded automatically if you don't have data yet for this update interval. And if you need to review the query that you use, you can click setting button. That's it. It's very simple. By the way, there are different ways to get your data into the software. You can use you can import your data from MS Excel document, or you can use a RESTful API to connect your third-party tools, your other business systems with BC Designer to exchange data with your indicators. That's all for this video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to get back to our customer support team.